In the volatile chessboard of the Middle East, few hypothetical conflicts spark as much intense debate as a showdown between Turkey and Israel. We're looking at two regional superpowers, each armed to the teeth and backed by decades of combat experience. But what happens if diplomacy fails and the gloves come off? While Israel is renowned for its tech and intelligence, many analysts argue that Turkey possesses unique strategic advantages that could ultimately tip the scales in a protracted war. Today, we're diving deep into the military hardware, manpower, and geopolitical realities to explore a scenario that hopefully remains just that, a scenario. Buckle up, because we are breaking down exactly why the Turkish military might just have the upper hand. Number 2, strategic depth and geography. Geography is destiny in warfare, and Turkey has a massive advantage simply by being a huge landmass compared to the incredibly narrow strip of land that is Israel. Israel lacks strategic depth, meaning a jet fighter can cross the entire country in mere minutes, leaving critical infrastructure and air bases vulnerable to a concentrated first strike. Turkey, on the other hand, is vast and mountainous, allowing them to disperse their assets, hide command centers deep inland, and absorb attacks without losing their ability to fight back. An enemy would have to penetrate hundreds of miles of rugged terrain to reach Ankara, whereas nearly every inch of Israeli territory is within immediate range of medium-range missiles. This geographical buffer gives Turkey the luxury of time and space to regroup and counterattack. Number 3, the drone superpower. You cannot talk about modern warfare without mentioning the absolute game-changer that is the Bayraktar TB2 and the newer, heavier Akinci drones. Turkey has revolutionized low-cost, high-impact drone warfare, proving their lethality in conflicts from Libya to Nagorno-Karabakh by absolutely decimating traditional armor and air defense systems. While Israel is a pioneer in drone tech, Turkey has mastered mass production and swarm tactics, allowing them to sacrifice cheap drones to overwhelm expensive air defense batteries like the Iron Dome. Imagine skies filled with hundreds of armed UAVs hunting down radar stations and tanks. It's a nightmare scenario for any defender. This domestic production capability means Turkey doesn't need to beg foreign powers for replacements. They can just build more and keep the pressure on 24/7. Number 4, naval superiority in the Med. The Eastern Mediterranean is the likely theater for this conflict, and the Turkish Navy has been undergoing a massive modernization program that is turning heads. With their new amphibious assault ship, the TCG Anadolu, Turkey effectively has a mini aircraft carrier that can project power and deploy drones or helicopters right off Israel's coast. Their submarine fleet is also formidable, capable of cutting off Israel's vital maritime trade routes and effectively blockading the country from energy imports. Israel relies heavily on the sea for supplies, and a blockade enforced by Turkish frigates and submarines would strangle the economy rapidly. Turkey's ability to control the waves turns the Mediterranean into a Turkish lake rather than an open sea. Number 6. NATO training and doctrine. We often forget that the Turkish armed forces have been integrated into the NATO command structure for over 70 years, adopting the highest standards of organization and discipline. This isn't a ragtag militia. This is a force trained to fight alongside the US and UK, utilizing complex combined arms tactics that coordinate air, land, and sea power seamlessly. Their officers study at elite war colleges and have participated in major operations from Afghanistan to the Balkans, giving them real-world experience in logistics and multinational command. This institutional knowledge allows them to execute large-scale maneuvers that are incredibly difficult to defend against. While Israel is highly skilled, fighting a NATO standard army is a completely different beast than fighting irregular insurgents. Number 7. Proxy, influence, and alliances. Turkey has cultivated a vast web of influence across the Middle East, North Africa, and the Turkic world, giving them access to proxy forces and potential allies that could open up multiple fronts against Israel. From Syria to Libya, Turkey has shown it can mobilize local fighters to do the heavy lifting on the ground, harassing the enemy and draining their resources without risking Turkish regulars. Furthermore, in a conflict with Israel, Turkey would likely rally significant support from the broader Muslim world, potentially isolating Israel diplomatically and economically. This soft power can quickly turn into hard power, creating a scenario where Israel isn't just fighting Turkey, but dealing with unrest on all its borders simultaneously. It's a force multiplier that extends Ankara's reach far beyond its own physical borders. War is unpredictable, and while these factors favor Turkey on paper, the reality of combat is always messier and more dangerous than any simulation. Both nations are powerhouses, and a clash between them would likely reshape the entire world order, hopefully a scenario we never have to witness. What do you think? Did we miss a critical advantage for either side? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into military strategy.